Hey, I didn't get a chance to talk to all the council members like I did with you about how we're doing this awards thing. So if you want to, they're just going to come right here in the front. Okay. Um, you ready? Yep, we're good.
Everybody ready? Let the record show my clock says it's 6 o'clock and the October 13th, 2020 Durant City Council meeting is now in session. Would everyone please stand while we have the invocation, and I hope James Dalton, is James in here? James Dalton will give the invocation, followed by Councilman Mike Morris to lead us in the flag salute.
Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for the day, the beauty of the day. We thank you for our health. We pray for those in our community and about who are ill. Lord, we pray a healing over this COVID situation, Father. Lord, we just thank you for every good thing, Father. We pray for wisdom tonight for all involved. We pray that we stay civil with each other's neighbors. Lord, we thank you for every good thing. Thank you for our families in Jesus' name.
Amen.
Will you join me in the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You may be seated if you have a seat back there. Our first order of business is our presentation.
Roll call.
I'm sorry, I guess I ought to have the roll call. Would the clerk please call the roll?
Councilmember Shear,
Here.
Councilmember Tomlinson, Councilmember Morris,
Here.
Vice Mayor Brittingham is absent, Mayor Groby.
Here, we have a quorum. Let the record show that we do have a quorum. Our first order of business is presentations. This is presentation of an Employee Service Awards for the third quarter of 2020. And due to COVID, we're having to do them a little bit different this year. I believe Cindy is going to have, as we call the names, they're going to come over to where Cindy is and receive their award. And if they want their families with them, then I think Matt is here to take a picture. We have a combined 70 years of dedicated service to the city of Durant from this group. 10 years, our first award is Richard Layton Fire Department, a certificate, a pen, and $100. Is Richard here? No. Our next award is Kenneth Cooper, landfill certificate and a pen and $100 bill. Kenneth, I see you. Congratulations. That $100 bill. Congratulations, Kenny. Next award, 15 years service, Sergeant James Brian Chavez, Police Department, certificate, pen, and $150. Congratulations. If you want to bring your families up front, please do so and get a picture. Congratulations. Our next 15-year award, Jeremy McBride, Water Treatment Plant Certificate, pen, and $150. You're going to spend it for him too? Okay. Thank you very much. We have one 20-year award, Carl Mead, Sanitation Department. He gets a plaque, a certificate, a pen, and $200. Congratulations, Carl. Our next presentation, number B, presentation by Oklahoma Municipal Assurance Group, OMAG, of $10,000 grant award to City of Durant for the purchase of police officer body-worn video cameras.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to introduce Kevin McCullough with OMAG. They are our city's insurer. And a personal thank you, Kevin come down today and did our audit of our property and evidence management room. And thank you for spending the time at the police department to make sure that we're squared away in that area as well. But having said that, thank you for your interest in us and our progression with the body-worn camera and in-car camera systems. I think it'll go a long way to making our officers safe and transparency in the community. With that, Mike's all yours.
I'll just take a minute. Thank you for allowing me, Mayor, to take over your session for the next 3 hours. So I want to, Chief Hauser is not just a law enforcement professional, well respected in the state of Oklahoma, but I consider him a friend. And so I enjoy this part of the job, showing up and helping fund what our officers need. And Chief Hauser mentioned transparency. This is a way that your police department wishes to be accountable to the citizens that they serve. I appreciate this grant because it's also an officer safety tool, because we know over and over again that threats against officers have been stopped when perpetrators see the officer wearing a body cam. And then on a sad note, when our officers are assaulted, the body cam footage allows us to find the perpetrator and arrest them and see that they come to justice. And I will tell you that OMAG is very honored to participate in this grant program. As of January 1, 2020, we have provided over $400,000 in body cam grants for Oklahoma municipalities. And it's our commitment to continue on. So Chief Hauser, congratulations. And I appreciate your friendship and your dedication to professionalism.
The mayor said if you've given that much money away, why is she only getting 10,000?
I don't know. I don't have an answer for that. I got to take this back.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Kevin.
Item number 2 is our consent items, and these can be voted on all in one group, or if anyone wants to pull any item out to be voted on separately, they may do so. Does anyone wish to pull out any of the consent items, or do we have a motion that we approve consent items A through D as they are? Any discussion? Do we have a motion?
Move approval of the consent docket.
I'll second.
We have a motion, we have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 4, information items. If anyone has any questions, they may ask them now. If not, we will move to item number 4,
I
administration.
have a question.
Okay,
Lisa's not here, I don't think. And Robbie's not here, is he? Okay. I had a couple of comments regarding the economic development.
are you pulling out item number D?
I'm not pulling anything out. I just had questions regarding,
Oh, on the information
Information
item.
item.
Okay, yeah, okay.
and I noticed that Robbie was successful in getting some bids for the black, what do we call it, the black theater room? Yes, sir. And I just thought it was interesting, the name of the company that won the bid for the fans. Yes, sir. And I thought that was a little funny. But on Lisa's report, and I don't know that it was on the report, but I really have a question regarding, and she might just give me a call, or John, you might give me a call. There's a vacant building that I wasn't aware of. That's vacant at this time that until recently was occupied, and I have a question regarding that. That's all I have.
Okay. Item number 5, agenda item 5, administration. A, discussion on the renaming of Magnolia Street. And I think we have quite a few people here tonight. I don't know if you want to pick up 2 or 3 to speak. You're going to speak, and I believe it'll be 5 minutes. Is that true, right, John? Is it 5 minutes? We don't have a timer. That means you can just, we got a time. It'll be 5 minutes, and
Okay.
we'll allow you to speak.
We've got several names on the petition that nobody we've talked to was even notified or anything about the change of this before it already happened. And I was just wondering if the city had done an impact study or anything about what it would do to the business and the property values and all that. I mean, I own a business, I own Salvage City there, don't we, but on Highway 70 right now, so. And I'd have to change, it's gonna be pretty financially expensive, because you've had it done before to you. And you gotta change all your invoices, your business card, your name on your building and all that. And it's gonna be a pretty economic hardship on me. And I was wondering if there's anything that the city we can get done about getting it staying back. If they changed it to Highway 70 business, that would be fine. But Magnolia, that depreciates the property because we don't have highway frontage anymore. And it would depreciate our property quite a bit. But I mean, it'd be a pretty expensive economical impact on all the businesses on 70. And that's basically all I had to say about it, but it's pretty expensive to change all that on your businesses.
Mayor,
Ronnie, I forgot to ask. Should I?
yeah, it would, if you'd ask him to state his name and
Yeah, I
address.
forgot. I know you, so I assumed everybody did, and I forgot to ask you to state your name
All
and,
right. My name is Ronnie Aldridge. I own Salvage City, right there on 624 East Highway 70.
okay,
But like I say, economically, it would be a pretty good hardship on my business. And I've been there for years and years. And I mean, since 1979.
let's don't talk about those.
Yeah. But
It's
that's-
been a long time, I know.
Yeah, that's basically all I have to say is.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Ronnie. Is there anyone else who wishes to come forward? And when you do, please give your name and address.
Hey, my name is Brady Miller. My address is 1503 East Highway 70. We've been there 46 and a half years. I've raised all my children there, and now some of my grandkids are even working there. And this is a terrible hardship on us because we're going to lose business that I need. I've been annexed into the city several years ago, and I'm collecting city taxes for you guys. And the more business I get, the more it helps y'all. And I know they said something about Bruce Pack and the steel company having the same address. Well, if you call up Google Maps, that is right. They both say Old Highway 70, but they've both got numbers. Bruce Pack is 1500 and something, Highway 70 or 17. It's one of those. And then the steel company is on East Main, was on it. Well, it still is. But if they could name that East Main and either Business 70 or it wouldn't just help me, it'd help everybody. And all these folks back here is, that's just a portion of them that's involved in this. And we're just hoping we can get some help from you folks. And we'd appreciate anything y'all could do for us. And I think this lady back here would like to speak a little bit. She's some of our neighbors.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Miller. How are you, ma'am?
I'm fine, Mayor Groby. How are you?
Good.
My name is Deanna Bunch. I have been teaching here in Durant almost 30 years. I love this city. I want to applaud you for the job that you've tried to do. I remember seeing you on the news trying to stand up for what was right as far as city council expenses and everything else. And so that's what we're asking for you to do tonight, is to stand up for what is right for the people that live on Highway 70, who have been here for years. And then again, what it's going to cost, I mean, driver's license, all of the different fees for these people, not to mention they may lose business. And so when it comes down to it, you as city council members, you all work for us. Just like I tell my students and my parents, I work for you. And anybody that's ever had me in my class, if they are asked, what will Mrs. Bunch always do? I will do what's in your best interest. And that's what we're counting on you to do. Because I doubt very seriously that just because we change it to Magnolia Street, we're going to get any of the amenities that's given to Main Street. I don't believe that you will do that for us. And so there's nothing wrong with keeping it at Highway 70 Business and then the other one, Highway 70 Bypass. But please do what is right for the people who have businesses who count on that money. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
Hello, my name is Brianna Sherman. I'm at 1420 East Highway 70 Durant. We have Patchwork Angels and adult daycare, and I'm in the county. I'm not even in the city. Not sure that makes a difference. I'm also a registered voter, and I'm not sure why that should make a difference. I noted on the agenda that they said Mr. Miller's petition had 39 signatures, but only 4 of the people were registered voters. Not sure why that should make a difference. Do you only care about that made it seem as if the council only cares about the people who might vote for them or might not vote for them. I've got government contracts and I've got a credit history there. And anytime that you move your address, it affects your credit history. And that's going to cause a big problem for us if we had to get a loan or a grant. And with the way COVID is right now, our business is in trouble anyway. The most vulnerable people don't want to come out, and that's who our clients are. And so we were hoping to get some grants and some other things to help us. But if I open a new business at a new address, that's the way it'll look on paper anyway, then that's going to cause a lot of hardships for me as well. So I wish you would leave it East Highway 70 or East Highway 70 business. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you very much. Anyone else?
What was the reason of the name change for the?
I'll let the city manager answer that for you, Ronnie.
The main reason for the name change is 911 addresses. We had 3 streets in the city named Highway 70. We have no control over what street is named Highway 70. There, according to the state, there is no Highway 70 bypass. When they moved US Highway 70 around what is relatively known as the bypass, that's Highway 70. So we had 3 streets, Highway 70, known by the state, named by the state, controlled. And then we had part of Main Street, which was still 70, and we had the street that was relocated that was named 70. So
Highway business would fix that, just put a business, and I mean, there's other businesses probably like that too. If people are traveling through, you know what I mean? You wanna go down the business.
CMC.
And if you Google Magnolia Street right now, it's a block from the college up there.
that's not an actual city street.
What is it?
But it says Magnolia when you Google it.
When you Google it, Magnolia, it pulls you up right by the college.
Sir, if you want to speak, you're going to need to come up.
I don't need that.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wonder, I mean, if it was changed to 70B, wouldn't that do the same thing? Business or Highway 70 business?
You still haven't changed the name of your business though, correct?
No, sir, because it'd still be on Highway 70. It'd just be Business 70.
From all appearances, you did not check this out, I'm sorry. You really did not. I was trying to thank all of these people. I wish I had the nation that weren't here. And so, not even letting us know before you did it.
Right,
It's
and-
not the first time that the city council has done this, when you've done something in secret that we didn't know, and you need to do what's in our best interest, sir.
But I thought that was the purpose of the city council. It's why we have councilmen. They should let us know when it's going to affect our businesses.
It's posted legally, so it does. They follow the law.
Right, but they should have been notified by letter if it's going to affect your business.
Everybody knows fair and square, this ain't it.
Ronnie, just to take up for the city a little bit, my address out at Genstar was changed and I'm in the county. The city didn't have anything to do with it. And I was not notified either when my address was changed. The UPS man came out and told me one day that I was a new address and I didn't know it. I'd been the same address for years until they changed it.
But you should know how that affects your business. It means it did happen to you, and it does affect it, and it does affect your property values. If you're not on a highway, because if it's Magnolia, it's no longer a highway. And I didn't know the city could change a state highway, because 70 was a state highway.
The city did not, it was the state that changed the highway.
On
The state does not consider that road a highway anymore.
right, but it was on recommendation from the city.
No, sir.
Right, or
No, sir.
the state is the one that said change it to Magnolia.
No, the state's the one that says it's not Highway 70.
Okay, but couldn't it be Highway 70 business? Could it not be that?
Like, I don't know. I didn't ask that.
But,
Could it be, I think we got another.
uh,
Name,
no, that's old Highway 70.
Business is old Highway 70. Business is Old Highway 70?
No, Main Street is Old Highway 70.
Old Highway, and then there's the bypass.
Right, that is the Highway 70 bypass, but this was always been Highway 70.
Even East Highway 70. Seems
Section
like
of Main
it's
Street
easy
was,
to see the difference between East bypass and Old.
It's almost a coast-to-coast highway that we're on here. We don't need to lose a dime out here, you know?
They want to put up a big old billboard, in my parking lot, advertising whatever it is. And, but not if I'm on a city street. It should have been moved. That made a difference too.
But,
I would say you are on a city street regardless of what the name is.
yeah, if you're in a city limit, you're on the street.
I'm not in the city limits.
Oh, okay.
You're on a county road at this point.
I think one side of the street is county and the other side isn't.
It's not us, you gotta
Okay.
fix it, will still be on the highway.
Okay,
But that's all we're asking is consider it.
okay. And of course, this tonight, Ronnie, is a discussion. We
Right.
cannot make a decision tonight. This was to give y'all a chance for us to hear your side.
Right.
So that's what we've done. We've heard your side, and I don't know if anyone else wishes to speak. If they do, they can come forward, or if you've got anything further to say. Otherwise, we'll have listened to your discussion and we'll, I guess, consider it. Pardon? When will what? I'm sorry.
Decision.
Because November 1st is what you said that it will take place. So when will that happen?
The council voted 5-0 to change it back several months ago, and then a week or so following, the county voted 3-0 to do the same thing.
Now, my county commissioners reconsidered there in that folder, you'll notice a letter from him where he's reconsidered that.
Which one is that?
Mr. Perry, there's a letter in that folder.
Yeah, he's your commissioner, right?
District 3.
Okay.
And also, I've got real estate lawyers talking about property values. And we're not even talking about the business we're gonna be losing.
Property values.
Man, we need help down there. It wouldn't cost y'all a dime to help us. Not a dime.
I tell you what we'll do, guys. We will discuss this, get together and discuss it and try to get back with you in the next week and let you know something. And those of you that know me know that I mean that. Okay?
And just remember that we're needing help down here. And like I say, it won't cost y'all one dime to help us.
And remember, Mr. Miller, when I talked to you, I told you I couldn't promise you, but I would do what I could.
Everybody knows fair and square, it's just not even.
Okay?
I don't know how you justify it, I just don't know.
Who did you talk to at the state? Who from the state said something else to you?
Anthony Academy, the district, ODOT, Oklahoma Department of Transportation.
ODOT made a change, but the 911 people, it's only people I hadn't known yet.
Hey, that's easy fix with one phone call. Hello, 911, you got a pencil?
Okay, can we move on? We appreciate you guys being here tonight. And like I said, we will. Ronnie, you know me. Mr. Miller, you know me. We will. And ma'am, I don't really know you, but we will let you know something in the next week. It may not be what you want to hear, but we'll let you know something. You probably taught one of my kids. We really appreciate y'all being here. And I hear your concerns. I've been through it. Thank you very much for being here, all of you. Miss Miller, thank you. Okay. Number B, under administration, consider approval of ordinance 1917, amending section 159.10C of the Durant Code of Ordinance regarding murals. And 1B, ordinance 1917, section 1. Who's going to speak on this? And I guess this, okay, thank you.
The last time we had a mural come before council for approval, we were directed to get this changed so we didn't have to come back to council and then be administratively approved. And that's all that this ordinance does.
Do we have a motion?
I have a question. We're on the, and for the city manager, John, would there ever come a time when you'd, as the city manager, have to bring it before the city council?
This would be, there's criteria in the,
I don't think your speaker's on. I'm not sure.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Oh, there's criteria outlined in the code for approval of the murals. So it does not allow for an exception to come back to council. This one just would be approval by the city manager, like the other one was approval by council by resolution. So.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion or is there any other questions? This would just eliminate the murals that are being painted from them for the couple that do it or the people that do it to have to wait sometimes a month to come before the council. This would give John the authority to approve the murals.
Move approval ordinance 1917, section 1.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye. Motion carries. Item 2B, ordinance 1917, section 2, emergency clause.
Move approval of 1917, section 2.
We have a motion. Do we have a second for the emergency clause?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye. Motion carries. Item number C, 5C, consider approval of resolution 2020-38, establishing a special event permit and fee. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, ma'am. This resolution really just solidifies a practice that's been ongoing here for several years. There is an application. The application has been at one point approved by council, I think. Recently, they've not been approved by council. I don't know when that actually changed, but there's never actually been a resolution or anything in place establishing a special event permit, and that's what this does. And it also establishes a fee for non-governmental entities. There's a lot of stuff that the staff does, so there is some cost incurred. Sometimes we set up barricades even, so the cost is minimal, but it does help us. So.
Is there any discussion?
And John, I think as I looked at that, it had a 30-day
Yes, sir.
deadline.
Yes, sir. We discussed it. There's a 60-day that's on the application at this point. Not necessarily do we need 60 days. 30 days is probably sufficient. That's not saying that you can't do it earlier, but a minimum of 30. Since I've been here, I don't know that we've gotten one that's been more than 30 days out. They've always been a couple of weeks out. So we haven't even, with no teeth, we couldn't hold them accountable to the 60 days even. So.
Okay, and I just think maybe for the record too, in the past, there's been a couple of times when folks, I don't want to say dropped the ball, but maybe somebody moved and somebody assumed somebody applied for the permit. And anyway, we've had considerations for applications that got in under the deadline or,
yes, sir.
or after the deadline.
Yes, sir.
Would that still be a consideration?
I think if we could accommodate it, right? You know, lots of prep and stuff that had to occur, we couldn't
Yeah.
accomplish, that would be different. So,
Understand.
Any other discussion? Are we ready for a motion?
Move approval of resolution 2020-38.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 5D, consider approval of resolution 2020-36, extending the state of emergency until November 11th, 2020 due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Item number 5E, consider approval of resolution 2020-37, establishing a Highland Cemetery chapel use fee. Cindy will speak to that.
Okay, just in the last month, the renovations have been completed on the chapel. In the past, it has been made available to families at no charge. And the building was in dire need of updating and some repairs. It will be repaired both on the interior and the exterior of the building. The roof will be replaced within the next month. On the interior, we just finished those renovations, which included new flooring, ceiling of the building to keep out water, insects, things like that. And then it was painted and some repairs done to some of the interior woodwork. Up until this point, I had not been keeping utilities on inside the chapel because I was trying to keep cost to a minimum. However, now that we have the new flooring in, we've invested almost $7,000 on the interior of it. I would like to keep some utilities on there so it isn't 110 degrees in there in the summer nor freezing in there in the winter. So we will be incurring some utility costs there. And also with COVID, I have had to have a cleaning service that comes in and actually cleans the chapel after each service. And the cost of that is $175. And that's currently what the funeral homes are paying. So the remainder of that, the $25 that is remaining would go towards the utility bills that are coming into play now. So I think if anyone has an opportunity, even just to peek in the window out there, you'll see a tremendous change, an improvement to the facility that I think any family would be proud of and would certainly honor their families if they have services there. So I recommend approval of this fee.
Is there any questions or any discussion? Cindy, I believe you had discussed this with the funeral homes maybe, and they are in agreement, or?
I know that, well, they all know about the $175 fee. This is $25 more than that. The Browns Funeral Home had made the comment that they wouldn't mind paying that at all if the building was improved. They certainly wouldn't have, and I honestly can't blame them for how it looked prior to this.
Right.
But with the renovations, that they were in favor and they had no problem with it.
Thank you. Any discussion, or do we have a motion?
I move we approve resolution 2020-37 for a
Highway Cemetery Chapel use fee.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Was that a second? Oh, okay. We have a motion and we have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Item 5F, consider award of financing in the amount of $500,000 for a 2020 Spartan fire truck. Miss Ann, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Okay, this is a request to award the equipment financing to the American Nation Bank. And on the September, I sent out the request for the equipment quote. And then I sent it out to the financial institute, and then the 6 response. And the American Nation Bank give us the lowest interest rate is 2.375. So I recommend to award the financing bid to them.
Is there any discussions or any questions, Miss Ann?
Move we follow the treasurer's recommendation and award the financing in the amount of $500,000 for a new fire truck to American Nation Bank.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Item 5G, consider approval of loan from Durant City Utilities Authority to City of Durant in the amount of $181,000 for Oklahoma LED light upgrade to be paid on the first day of each month for 42 months with interest at the rate, low rate, 0.25%. C-2020-69. Mr. James.
Hi, Ms. Oden, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
Appreciate you letting us have an opportunity to visit about this. As you know, last month at the meeting, we approved the authorization for Oklahoma LED to go through our city buildings and to redo the lighting and to convert them over to LED. We looked at the cost that was involved in that. We looked at the financing that was available, and very much like we did with the fuel tank that we purchased at the airport, we looked at the opportunity rather than going for outside financing, especially since a lot of the buildings were in the Durant City Utility Authority already. We looked at taking those out as a capital expenditure item and then financing the rest from a DCUA loan at 0.25%, which is will save us quite a bit of money that we don't have to pay a commercial lender in interest. And we would like your approval on that. As you see, there is a amortization schedule in your packet. That amortization schedule sets forth the monthly payment each month. And we are, by doing that, since we're not going to pay interest nearly as high on that, we were able to originally, when we looked at that, was going to be 60 months, probably financing on that. We were able to cut that down to 42 months. So that's a significant savings to us in that interest. So we'd like to get your approval to move forward with that.
Thank you.
Yes,
James, over here.
Yes, I'm sorry.
This 181,000 does include installation, doesn't it?
Yes, sir. That's turnkey.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Is there any further discussion? Are we ready for the vote?
I move we approve. Approve C 2020-69 for the LED upgrade.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, James.
James, I would also like to say I especially think it's a great idea borrowing from ourselves.
Well, we can. We think
Our next item, number 5H, consider relief of building permit fees for the Durant Independent School District on the new elementary school. And I see Mr. Dwayne strolling up here. How are you, Mr. Dwayne?
I'm good. How are you, Mayor?
Just fine, thank you.
Feeling better?
Great.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thanks for hearing me today. And again, I understand, and I think you guys know this, I understand budgets and what it takes to meet payroll and things of that nature. And I know that some of the fees go to pay for the folks that do the inspections. I completely understand that. And again, I'm just coming here today to ask if there's any way we could get any relief. This is our new George Washington Elementary School out on Gerlach is being built from a bond, as everyone knows, that was passed by our taxpayers. And if there's any way we could give us some relief on those, it would be greatly appreciated. Any relief that we get will go back into the building itself. And so anything you can do to help us, I'm greatly appreciative. And I want to say not only that, but the work that you guys are doing on the streets in Durant really looks good. Matter of fact, crossed Fifth on my way over here today. It looks great. So I see a great use of that bond money that you guys were able to get done going into effect now. And it's very much appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I believe that the maximum that you had asked for, requested was 16.
I believe
It was going to 16,000, and you said that whatever we wanted to contribute or anything we could help you out with on these, the cost of these permits or in-kind permit. I
Yes,
guess
ma'am.
it's an in-kind deal. Is there anyone wish to speak or any discussion?
I'll say something. I have no objections to considering some or all of the permitting fees. I appreciate the fact that the city of Durant, the Durant Public School District, have probably enjoyed one of the finest partnerships in the state of Oklahoma. Appreciate Mr. Meredith and his leadership. I'll at the appropriate time, I'd be happy to make a motion.
Okay, any further discussion? Mike, you look like you wanted to say something. Did you?
I'm not exactly clear on whether or not this expense for us, where it would come from out of the budget. What if we propose to meet you halfway deal?
We are open to anything.
I might point out, it's not a budgeted item.
I'm still wondering about that.
We do budget permit fees, right? But it's
Yeah.
all, you don't know what you're really going to get. It's all a projection at that point. I mean, I think, like Mr. Meredith said, he understands that we do inspections and we have labor costs. And I think if it was at 50%, I think that would be sufficient to cover our cost, I think.
To be, like I say, anything you can do would be appreciated. And again, I think it's the teamwork we have as a city and school system. We work together so well, and we're so appreciative of you guys as well as our county partners. So anything you can do, and again, it's at the end of the day, if it's nothing, you know what? We're still going to be okay. We're still going to work together. Okay.
Dwayne, if we split it 50-50, would you still leave here happy and love us?
I sure will.
Does anybody want to make a motion? We split it 50-50, or would?
I'm
any
prepared
other-
to make a motion. John, I'm sorry, I didn't hear. What, did you give an amount a while ago? I didn't.
I believe it was 16,622. It was, don't quote me on that, sir,
Yeah.
but somewhere in that neighborhood.
Yes.
That sounds right.
I'd be happy to make a motion that, and we don't know really that 16,000, it could be more, it could be a little less, I guess, or is that
That's what has been calculated as the permit fee.
for the, okay.
So They've
so
already
it's-
gone through that process. and
That's
the
pretty set
plans, and
in
so-
stone, okay. I'd be happy to make a motion that we approve, hang on that, an amount not to exceed, and I'm struggling with the number here, but $6,000 in permit fees for the Durant Independent School District.
Can you clarify that a little as you arrive at that number? If we split it half and half, that's not right, is it?
Then you can make a motion then. There's a motion on the floor for not to exceed 6,000.
I didn't hear you. There's a motion not to exceed 6,000. Okay, we have a motion not to exceed 6,000. Do we have a second?
Madam Mayor, can I clarify or can I ask for a clarification? Was that motion that the school district, the fees incurred by the school district are not to exceed $6,000, or the waiver amount by the city is not to exceed 6,000?
Good point. The cost to the school district not to exceed 6,000.
Okay. We have the motion. Do we have a second? We don't have a second, so that. Yeah, motion dies. Can we make another motion?
If it's in order, I'd consider another motion. Is it in order?
Yeah.
I'll withdraw my motion and make a new motion to not exceed $8,000, which would be about half.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second that I'm assuming that it's not to exceed half, which would be around the $8,000, right?
The motion was 8,000.
Okay, we have an $8,000 motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it, folks.
Thank you very much, Dwayne. Okay, next item on our agenda, HI, fiscal year 2020 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG, Small Cities Grant Award 17980 CDBG 20 for upgrading the electrical and control system infrastructure improvements supporting the city-owned water treatment plant, C-2020-68. Item number 1, under I, consideration to accept the 2020 Community Development Block Grant, CDBG Small Cities Grant Award 17980 CDBG 20 from Oklahoma Department of Commerce in the amount of $152,222 for upgrading the electrical and control system infrastructure improvements supporting the city-owned water treatment plant, C-2020-68. Ms. Peckham.
Okay, we have a lot of projects going on, and Brandon is here. If anyone is interested in questions about the project, this is a grant that we're eligible for on an annual basis. And the match is it is required for a 1-to-1, but as you'll see it with your cost estimate, that the project will exceed more than that amount to make the project happen. Are there any questions?
Anyone have any questions? Do we have a motion for C-20- or 2020-68?
I move we accept the grant C-2020-68 for $152,222.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. I2, consideration to adopt the residential anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan relating to the 17980 CDBG 20 project.
This is a normal document or plan that goes along with every Department of Commerce Community Development Block Grant that we receive. And it states that if the project were to cause residents to have to relocate, then we would have to address that. And so this project will not affect anyone, but it is a required document.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions? Any discussion? Do we have a motion?
We need a motion to adopt that.
We have a
Okay.
motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Did you second it, Mike? We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. I3, consider authorization for mayor to sign related grant award documents for the 17980 CDBG 20 project. We have a motion. Anybody?
I move we authorize the mayor to sign
We have,
related grants 17980 CDBG 20 project.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Item J, U.S. Department of Interior Bureau of Reclamation Water Smart Water and Energy Efficiency Grant Program, WEEG R19AP00124 C 2020-18. Number 1, consider to approve construction contract agreement C-2020-18CC to Core and Main LP in the amount of $3,514,078 related to the U.S. Department of Interior Bureau of Reclamation Water Smart Water and Energy Efficiency Grant Program, WEEG R19AP00124 for the citywide AMR meter improvement project, C-2020-18. Ms. Becker again.
A lot of words. And first of all, I want to say I apologize. When I came up here a while ago, I didn't even say good evening or anything. My mind was going on to the items, so I apologize. This is an exciting project that's going to affect the entire city, all of our residents, the businesses, and community and economic development growth. Brandon Wall, the engineer, is here, and we had the pre-construction meeting today, and it just generated a lot of excitement. I would like to say, and I should have included that in my item, it should also include the OWRB funding. So I'd like to insert that, and when a motion's made, that we have that included in our motion too, Cindy. And then Tom, this is one that I sent you, and by my notes, you had already approved this, correct? This contract? Okay.
Okay, are we ready for the question or any discussion on J1? Are we ready for a motion?
Move approval of C-2020-18CC to the Core and Main LP in the amount of $3,514,078 and add to it what Becca needs.
Oh, come on, don't you want to say
We have a
that?
motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson, Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Item J2, authorize mayor and city attorney to sign all related construction documents for R19AP00124 related to the citywide AMR Meter Improvements Project, C-2020-18.
And also in that, following that grant number that starts with an R, Cindy, if we could add and the OWRB funding.
Do we have a motion?
Move approval of authorization. Are you saying that it needs this ORB funding included?
I would, yes.
Second.
I guess that was my motion.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I seconded.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson, Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Number K, FAA Airport Improvement Program, AIP Grant Agreement, DUAS WG-3-40-0025-014-2020, Construction Contract C-2020-61CC for the install NAVAID Wincom Project, C-2020-60. 1K, consideration to approve construction contract C-2020-61CC to Electric Power Solutions LLC in the amount of $17,500 related to the FAA Airport Improvement Program, AIP, grant agreement, DUAS WG-40-0025-014-2020 C-2020-60 for the install NAVAID Wincom project for improvements at Durant Regional Airport, Acre Field, C-2020-61.
If you make one typo in that, it changes everything. So this is another project and the bid, was awarded in September. So, and Tom has already approved this contract as well.
Okay,
Move approval of C-2020-61 CC.
we have a motion. Do we have a
Electric.
second?
I mean, include to Electric Power Solutions LLC in the amount of $17,500.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
That's a lot of
Second.
money for a windsock. Is that a deluxe model or something, James?
Like a lot of money.
It is, we're only gonna pay $1. Anything airport related is extremely expensive. is what we're paying.
Do we have a motion and a second?
Of course,
I second
that
it.
includes all the electrical too, Mike.
I thought Danny seconded.
Yeah, I was just commenting. Danny
Oh,
seconded.
who seconded it?
I did.
Okay, Danny did. We have a motion and a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. 2K, authorize mayor and city attorney to sign all related construction documents related to DUA-SWG-3 40-0025-014-2020 C-2020-60. Motion, please.
I move we authorize mayor and the city attorney to sign all related construction documents for this matter.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Number L, U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration, EDA, Public Works Grant Number 08-01-05284, C-2019-22, Construction Contract, C-2019-22CC related to wastewater treatment plant facility improvements. Number 1L, consideration to approve construction contract C-2019-22CC to Wynn Construction Company, Inc. of Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, in the amount of $1,699,000 related to EDA Public Works Grant Award number 08-01-05284, C 2019-22 for wastewater treatment plant facility improvements, contingent upon all required documentation approved by U.S. Department of Commerce Economic Development Administration, EDA.
Okay. We just received this contract, I don't know if it's this morning or yesterday, honestly, but from Wall Engineering, and it has been forwarded on to the U.S. Department of Commerce, and they are on it and planning to complete the review by the end of the week, or first of next week, so that we can complete the notice to proceed. And so I would ask that your motion be contingent upon EDA's approval, please.
Okay. Any discussion or call for the motion?
Approval of construction contract C-2019-22C to Wynn Construction Company in the amount of $1,699,000 contingent upon the EDA's approval back to us.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would you please record the vote?
And I'm sorry. And could we add to that, because Tom, you probably even haven't had time to review it, correct?
I have.
You have. Okay, I apologize. Go ahead.
Contingent
Okay,
upon EDA and city attorney's approval. I'll amend my motion to that.
Okay. Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. 2L, authorize mayor and city attorney to sign all related construction documents for EDA Public Works Grant Award number 08-01-05284, C-2019-22. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve mayor and city attorney to sign all related documents for EDA Public Works Grant 08-01-05284.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries.
Okay, thank you. I would like to make a comment too, that all three of these contract documents or construction contracts approved tonight were all within budget. And I think that says a lot, and definitely want to give a shout out to Wall Engineering because of the great job that they have in guiding us through these projects. So
Thank you. Becca. Thank you, Brandon.
Becca, it seems like we've been getting a lot of grants lately. We appreciate your good work.
Item number 6, we now move into the public hearings. Number A, under public hearing, consideration of PC 2020-17, final plat for property on Cemetery Road near Rodeo Road. Number 1A, public hearing. Ms. Danielle, how are you?
I'm good. How are you? This is it for a final plat. Normally, you just might have some confusion here, but normally there's a preliminary and final plat process. However, because there is no infrastructure needed or anything else that would kind of trigger that preliminary plat, it automatically went on to the final plat. The biggest reason it's at the final plat is because it has 6 lots, and staff cannot approve 6 lots because it's considered a major subdivision within the ordinances. So that's kind of why we're here as a final plat. It's a plot of 30 acres. They want to divide up into 6 5-acre lots. It's zoned as agriculture. The comprehensive plan also has it as agriculture currently. Obviously, that is being worked on so that could possibly change in the future, but for the time being, it does meet all of those requirements. Additionally, the Planning Commission and staff do recommend approval of the final plat for this project.
Is there anyone else here to speak on this? How are you, sir? Please give us your name and address.
Hi, Mayor. I'm Brad Acock. I'm a real estate broker here in Durant, Oklahoma, with Active Real Estate. I'm just here on behalf of the property owners that weren't able to make it tonight. I don't really have anything to say that Danielle didn't already say. These lots do meet the current zoning. There would be no need for a zoning change. They meet the minimum road frontage that would be required for A1 zoning. There's already city infrastructure in place as far as water goes. There's no city sewer, but the lots are large enough that a septic or an aerobic system could be put on each lot. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak? Anyone else? Anyone else who wishes to speak? If not, we'll go to number 2 under public hearing. Consideration and action on PC 2020-17 final plat. Any discussion or do we have a motion?
I have a question. Brad just mentioned it. There's not sewer there. And the lots are of the big enough size to, but will they be septic systems? Is that what?
It would be up to the homeowners if they went that route, but there's no city sewer in that area at all. So they would have to do either like an aerobic or septic system if a home was placed on that.
One or the other?
Right, yes, yes.
Okay.
Any other discussion or any other questions?
Move approval of PC 2020-17 final plat.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson,
Aye.
Councilmember Morris,
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Number B, under public hearing, consideration of ordinance 1573A to update the public hearing process for the plating process. We're in the public hearing of that.
Yes, so this is to, what came to our attention was that currently there is no public hearing process for preliminary or final plats, meaning that currently they can just bring it to the Planning Commission, allow 15, 20 days, and then they can get on the Planning Commission docket and the City Council docket. What we've talked with the city attorney, talked with the city manager, we all agreed that it would be the easiest way to have it kind of consistent. Currently, there is only one avenue for public hearing within the subdivision ordinances, and that is for the replating process, which only has to be heard by the Planning Commission. So what we did is we just kind of mirrored that and put it in with the preliminary plat as well as the final plat. When it went on to the Planning Commission, the Planning Commission also brought up about being in the sketch plat phase. I've not received a sketch plat since I've been in the department here, but that was something they wanted to have in there just in case we did have one to allow a public hearing for the sketch plats as well. So that was the only addition. There is one little minor thing that we'd ask whenever we get to the motion piece of it, before I forget. In the short title, we'd like to amend that to where there's to declare an emergency in that short title. Due to the lack of staff not placing that in there, my apologies.
Okay. Does anyone else wish to speak? Anyone else? Anyone else? Item 2, consider action on ordinance 1573A, section 1. Do we have a motion?
Move approval of ordinance 1573A, section 1.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear,
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries.
Move approval of 1573, Section 2. 1573A, Section 2.
And will that be with the emergency clause? That would be with the emergency clause.
Yes.
Okay. We have a motion. Do we have a second? On item number 3, consider action on ordinance 1573.
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear.
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you, Danielle. Number 7, is there any new business?
I don't have new business, but I needed to point this out. Back on the agenda item of the ordinance 1917. Tom, you might take a look, and John, that first whereas, that language is, I'm not, it's confusing. I don't know what first whereas on that 1917. May just be a house cleaning thing or
Yeah, that's probably Scrivener's error. It probably should be city man, the words be city manager probably should not be there, but since it's not part of the actual ordinance itself, it's just the introductory portion. Probably consider it if you like.
okay.
We're straight? Any new business? Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Motion to adjourn.
We have a motion. Do we have a second? For adjournment.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Councilmember Shear.
Aye.
Councilmember Tomlinson.
Aye.
Councilmember Morris.
Aye.
Mayor Groby.
Aye. We are now adjourned out of the city council. It is 7:17 and the Durant City Utility Authority is now in session. Would the secretary please call the roll?
Trustee Shear.
Here.
Trustee Tomlinson.
Here.
Trustee Morris.
Here.
Vice Chairman Brittingham is absent. Chairman Groby.
Here, we have a quorum. Item 1 under consent item. Number A, consider approval of regular meeting minutes of September 8, 2020.
Move approval of 1A.
We have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the secretary please record the vote?
Trustee Shear.
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson. Trustee Morris.
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 3, information items. If no questions on any of those,
I have one.
okay.
Actually, Marty, the Public Works report, and I did warn Marty earlier. But a couple of things, just a couple of questions, Marty. And, one, that Larkspur Street Extension Project, that seems to be a reappearing topic each time on your report. Is that, and it kind of says the same thing. Have we closed it or shut that down, or are we?
We are finishing the project where it stands. We are not finishing the road north up beyond that property line that we all
Right,
know about.
right.
Tom is in communication with the owner trying to get that property, and we'll come back and readdress that later when we have ownership.
Mhm.
But I have to get this construction company closed out and out of there because it's costing me money to hold on to them. So we're closing, we've made our final pay app and everything's ready to go. And then whenever we get the property, we'll come back to it.
All right, thank you.
Mhm.
And our streetscape number 5.
You want to take that one, John? She's going.
We're working on it. Yeah, we met with them in February, I believe, the engineer, and then COVID hit. And so we kind of got stalled again, but we're working on it. We're back in contact with them again, so.
Very good. And any progress on the curbside recycling?
No, and I've sat through several demonstrations. We've run some numbers. We actually think it might be a better idea at this point to look at outside people doing that, third party, as an option as well. Basically, if you go curbside to every house in town, you need another trash department, just like I have. 3 more trucks, 6 more drivers, and somewhere along the way, it becomes very expensive to start up. Now, after you get it going, maintaining it's not that big a deal. But there's $1 million in trash trucks I need just to start it up, So we're still looking at some options. We are visiting with Choctaw, who's got their recycling program kind of going in motion again. I think they're taking everything again, at least they were talking about it. But we haven't come up with any good conclusion for our own downtown recycling.
That's all I have. Thanks.
And if you run across a recycling program idea and a light bulb goes off, feel free to give me a call. I'll check, because I've been checking other cities and all kinds of stuff. So
Most of my light bulbs are burned out. Trying to get the LEDs.
Okay, item number 4, administration. 4A, consider approval of loan from Durant City Utilities Authority to City of Durant in the amount of $181,000 for Oklahoma LED light upgrade to be paid on the first day of each month for 42 months with interest at the rate of 0.25%. C-2020-69. Mr. James again.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. There is, I just might point out on your DCUA copy, there is a Scribner's error there. It may say 181,042, and that's just a Scribner's error. It should be 181 even on that. Okay. So I just wanted to point that out to you. And I was going to point out as well of Mike's comment earlier about the fact that we're borrowing from ourselves. The real win on this is that DCA doesn't lose any money on this at all because we were only drawing this same interest rate from the bank. So we're not losing anything on the DCUA side of that as well. So. Other than that, any questions?
Any questions for Mr. James? Ready for the motion?
Move approval of the loan.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the secretary please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson, Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye, motion carries. 4B, consider approval of Durant City Utilities Authority, DCUA, capital expense purchase in the amount of $70,838 for Oklahoma LED light upgrade for all DCUA facilities. You again?
Sorry about that. Again, this is just part of that package that we've been able to put together. And the approval here would be a capital expenditure item. If you guys remember from our presentation last month by Oklahoma LED, they're estimating us getting about $90,000 in rebate back from OG&E on this project. So when we get that money back, a portion of that will come back into this to offset this capital expenditure item. But this is there's no sense, since this was DCA properties that we're upgrading, there's no sense us even paying the 0.25% for those when we can just take it out of capital expenditure as a whole.
A question, my copy says $96,312.
How much, sir?
96,312? Is that right?
312, that's correct.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
sorry, I thought I heard 70.
Yes, sir, 96,312.
Okay, is that 90,000 a done deal on the
It,
OG&E thing?
we don't know the exact amount. They are estimating it to be that much, and it could be more.
Okay.
Okay.
Move approval of the DCUA capital expense purchase in the amount of $96,312.
A second.
I'm trying to figure out where we are. We're on 4B, right?
Yes, ma'am.
We have a motion and a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
trustee Tomlinson, trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye, motion carries. 4C, project to Viking Industrial Painting LLC in the amount of $297,600. Well, Mr. Marty, hello.
And I'm back. So we opened bids for this and actually had 10 bids, I think, that we opened. Came in about, you can see the estimate back there for 329, and we actually got it for 297. So about 30,000 under what we estimated. This is one of our regularly planned projects, but it was not itemized in the budget. It was a part of a bigger scope of work at the water treatment plant. And so we're asking you to award this bid to Viking in the amount of 297. We're already working with communication companies that are on top of this tower to have them relocate their communication equipment during this time frame. We're probably going to end up with 2 temporary 120-foot poles, one for each company, beside that tower while we're in construction. I think we estimated 90 days of construction. I think somebody, which they'll sandblast the entire thing and then resurface it. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for Mr. Marty?
Marty, you mentioned the temporary antenna thing. So whoever we're working with, all of them will continue to have or provide
Service.
their service.
US
Now-
Cellular and Verizon are
Okay.
the two the primaries.
Okay.
And then I've got a Sprint, the T-Mobile bottom, and they've got a smaller unit. They may just demote theirs on the I'm not sure.
But when they're complete, do we have any, try to ask it best I can. Like the way it is now with all the antennas and everything, are we happy with that? Or when these guys are complete, do we have anything better, or do they have anything better?
Well, they're both in the middle of a 5G upgrade as well. So it's a good time to take all their stuff off the tower, plus all the old stuff that's been up there for years that belonged to somebody else. We're going to strip clean. Only what's going up there is what's required for the 2 new 5G. And so it will be at a better surface than it is now.
Artie, I have a silly question.
Mhm.
Are we under any obligation or do we have any plan to eradicate the buzzards on these water towers? Do the companies expect us to get rid of them or?
Mike, I didn't hear you. I can't hear you.
I'm talking about the buzzards on the water tower. Whose responsibility is
That's the
that?
worst tower in town for buzzards.
Mike, do you think we really want to eliminate all the old buzzards in town?
That'd be problems for me and you and some others.
There's a section in here about bird. I thought there was, but I don't remember the exact name right offhand. They'll have some. Yeah. So last time we tried these little triangle plastic spikes and the buzzards kicked them off the roof, so it didn't work. But this product is supposed to be something, we're gonna try something different this time. So yes, we do have a plan.
I just wondered,
Okay. Are we ready to call for the motion on number 4C?
I move we award the bid for that tank to Viking Industrial Painting, the amount of $297,600.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. With the clerk, please record the vote.
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye, motion carries. Number 4D, consider acceptance of an easement for the intention of extending our sanitary sewer line north of Remington Hills. Marty again.
So I had a gentleman come to me and he is building, he's already building the duplexes. I think you may have seen him if you've driven out in that neighborhood. But he would like to have sewer. And for me, it's just another customer, even though he's outside of town, it's somebody I get to charge a sewer bill to. There is capacity on this line. Now, he's gonna have to, first he had to get me the easement. He took care of the surveys and all this. If you approve this, he will then have to design that sewer line with an engineer, get it approved by DEQ, and then we would accept that line after it was constructed again by him. We're not out anything on this other than gaining some customers. So in my recommendation is that we expand our sewer system everywhere we can and gain some more customers. And I'd
Marty,
be happy to answer questions.
I've got a question. Why would you build 10 houses like that and go out on a limb before you get an okay to put the sewer in? Is he not taking a gamble?
I can't speak to his frame of mind.
I don't get it. You know, I've seen them, they're ready to move in almost.
Because if he doesn't get the sewer, he's gonna have to back up and do aerobic, and he doesn't have enough land for the structure.
You're right.
You're right.
They're packed in there.
I can't speak to that. All I know is that I just got this about a week and a half ago, so. And
Seems
again, to
kind
me,
of, seems kind of odd to me.
if they got everything signed and everybody's happy with the easement, to me, we're just adding customers, so.
I guess my concern is I was in a similar situation when I changed houses and we couldn't get sewer, you know? So why will we not be opening the door for other people to complain that
Sure.
he got it and I didn't?
Well, but the difference is he's putting it in. If you want to put sewer into your new house, I don't care where you live, you're more than welcome to. It's not cost effective at a certain point. This one is actually close enough, it's cost effective for him. He's going to make money on it because he's going to get to squeeze more houses in there. And this is where our regional planning commission will come in to help us with some of that zoning and some of that, you know, the structures and being so tight. Maybe won't happen a year from now, but this year it did. So.
Will these new customers be out of the city limits?
We already have customers outside the city limits. The city limits has no bearing on the customer list. Now, if you're in the city, I require you to be on it if I can get it to you. But if you're outside the city and want it, I'm okay with that too.
Any other questions? Are we ready for the motion?
We accept the easement.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Abstain.
Chairman Groby.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Thank you. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Make the motion, we adjourn.
We have a
Second.
motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the secretary please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. We are now adjourned out of the Utility Authority. It is 7:33, and we will now call to order the Durant Airport Authority. Would the secretary please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Here.
Trustee Morris,
Here.
Vice Chairman Brittingham is absent. Chairman Groby.
Here, we do have a quorum. Under our order of business, our first item, consent item, is number A, consider approval of regular meeting minutes of September 8, 2020. Do we have a motion?
I move we approve the minutes of September 8th, 2020.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. Motion carries. There are no information items, no administration items. Any new business?
Don't have new business, but we don't have a reporter of any kind. How we come in on the airport stuff? James, still here?
Just a quick update. We received our fuel truck back, our Jet A truck, from the Basco company who rebuilt that truck. It was estimated to cost us $12,000 and it came under by a few $100s, a little over 11, 11.4, 11.5, something like that, I believe. So we have that. The paperwork has been completed on the 12,000 gallon, 100 low lead tank. They're in the process of the build on that, and we anticipate that we'll have them here doing some site work and groundwork between now and probably 1st of December. And then hopefully we'll have that fuel tank installed and operational sometime around the 1st of the year. That's our target point at this very time.
Will that be above or underground?
It's above ground. It is above ground, 12,000 gallon, and it will actually have the self-service hose reel and everything on the end of the tank under a sheltered area. So it'll all, we won't have to worry about our old tank. What we got into with that is the fact that the tank was buried off to the south of where we got fuel. And then there was an underground line of probably 100 foot or so that came up and attached to where the hose reel was, where you actually dispense the fuel. So we don't have to worry about any risk of that line being bad underground or any outside elements getting into that new tank. So we're excited about that.
Are there any EPA considerations on that old tank?
We don't know that yet until that tank is, once we officially take that completely out of service, we have 1 year for that to be removed. Part of our bid, when we sent it out to this company that we awarded the other tank to, is for them to remove that line. So when that line is removed, then they'll test the soil, and we will see if there's any EPA ramifications from that or not. We hope there's not. There could be. We think the water that we experienced in the main tank was due to condensation and not being able to sump that out.
Do we, I think last meeting or so, there was a reference to interim manager. Do we still have a?
We do. Many of you are familiar with John Wyatt. John is serving. John, as y'all know, has military service. He's a licensed private pilot. He helped get the CAP started here many years ago. We worked together on that project, and he's doing a really good job for us out there. Fuel cells are up dramatically from what they have been, and we are seeing some of the customers that we had in the past coming back for fuel.
That's great. That's good news.
Yes, sir.
Are we actively recruiting for a manager? Got any applications yet?
I believe we do, but I'm not certain how many.
Thank you, James.
We're going
That's all I
to
have.
we're keeping working to get that up to speed.
Yeah, great. Thanks,
Thank you,
James.
James. Do we have a motion for adjournment?
Make the motion, we adjourn.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn from the, out of the airport authority. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. We are now adjourned out of the Airport Authority. It is 7:39 and we'll call to order the Durant Development Authority. And would the secretary please call the vote?
Okay.
Call the roll. Thank you.
Trustee Shear,
Here.
Trustee Tomlinson, Trustee Morris,
Here.
Vice Chairman Brittingham is absent. Chairman Groby.
Here, we do have a quorum. Our first order of business under consent items, 1A, consider approval of regular meeting minutes of July 14th, 2020. Do I have a motion?
Move that we approve minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the secretary please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. Motion carries. Number 3, any new business? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
I move we adjourn.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion. We have a second. Would the clerk please record the vote?
Trustee Shear,
Aye.
Trustee Tomlinson,
Aye.
Trustee Morris,
Aye.
Chairman Groby.
Aye. Meeting adjourned. We are now done for the month.